2017's Summer of Movies once again proved that blockbuster filmmaking is a magnet for poor creative decisions, counterintuitive to the idea of making money, or indeed, good art. For every entertaining tentpole released this past summer, there were several brain-dead movies that made mind-bogglingly, head-smackingly bad choices, resulting in infamous scenes that won't be forgotten anytime soon, for the wrong reasons. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and here are the 10 dumbest things in the worst summer movie season ever. Number 10. The unforgivably terrible CGI. Baywatch. There's a lot of bad CGI in The Rock's latest summer blockbuster, most egregiously during a fire yacht scene sequence where Dwayne Johnson and his co-stars have clearly acted the majority of the scene against a green screen before cheap explosion effects were crudely added in post-production. This is a near $70 million movie after all, and yet it couldn't find some cash to throw at a decent effects house to make sure the visuals weren't distractingly unconvincing. Number 9. The Dark Universe. The Mummy. Because telling a single standalone story isn't cool anymore, the new Mummy movie spent an unnerving amount of its runtime trying to sell Universal's prospective Dark Universe to audiences. Universal very clearly put the cart before the horse here, bringing in Russell Crowe to effectively advertise the potential franchise with a flashing neon sign before the first entry in the series had even been proven a success. And surprise, surprise, the film was critically panned and underperformed at the box office. And that's what you get. Number 8. The entirety of the Emoji Movie. They made an entire film about the keyboard I uninstalled from my phone and somehow convinced Sir Patrick Stewart to dedicate his precious time to it. It can f*** right off into the sea. Number 7. Casting Dane DeHaan as an action hero. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Dane DeHaan is a natural at playing oddballs, nerds, and general creepy weirdos, but dashing action heroes? Not so much, and on a purely physical level he bears almost no immediate physical resemblance to his square-jawed comic book equivalent. This is extra stupid considering that Valerian cost over $200 million, and if you're spending that much on a movie, you sure as hell don't hang it on an actor like Dane DeHaan, no offense intended, Dane DeHaan. He has zero natural chemistry with Cara Delevingne either, who plays his love interest throughout the film, and considering how pivotal their romance is to the overarching story, the fact it doesn't work is a major obstacle to the movie as a whole. Number 6. Nobody cares about Han, the fate of the furious. When the villainous Deckard Shaw joins Mr. Nobody's team in order to track down Dom and stop new antagonist Cypher, the team seems to conveniently forget that Shaw murdered their pal Han not so long ago. Now, these films never claim to possess much in the way of internal logic, but even with that in mind, it's quite insulting to the audience's intelligence that such a pivotal event in the series' history is so keenly glossed over simply for the cool novelty appeal of having the Staith on the team. If even just a few more lines of the team members protesting had been included, it wouldn't have seemed quite so jarring. Number 5. Karina is Barbosas' daughter. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. In the film's second half, Captain Barbossa finds out that the feisty new female lead, Karina Smith, is his daughter for some reason, and it's totally unnecessary. What seems more desperate in a movie franchise than randomly throwing in a familial link for some cheap drama and emotion? Inevitably, spoilers, Barbossa dies at the end, and Karina— I didn't really give you enough time to react, but I don't think you truly care if you're watching this list. Barbossa dies at the end, and Karina takes on the Barbossa name, but it feels very forced because the flat attempt at emotion wasn't remotely earned, and so it came off as awfully insincere. Number 4. Those expensive flops everyone saw coming. Not a single summer goes by without several high-profile, big-budget films flopping horrendously, and this year's biggest culprits were Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets and King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. The thing is, both of these films weren't merely bold risks, they were stupid gambles. Valerian was the most expensive project in European film history, costing over $200 million and failing to make anywhere close to that budget back. King Arthur, meanwhile, somehow cost a ludicrous $175 million and didn't even make $150 million worldwide. Ritchie's film clearly should have cost around $100 million, and certainly no more, and it's all the more disconcerting when you consider that maybe some of that money might not have ended up on the screen. Number 3. Elizabeth Shaw dies off screen. Alien Covenant. In Ridley Scott's new Is It an Alien Film? Oh Christ, Even We Don't Know movie, it's revealed that Prometheus protagonist Elizabeth Shaw was killed by android David and experimented upon. right. So Prometheus ended on a cliffhanger which flat out stated that the sequel should follow Shaw on her journey to the engineer homeworld, but at some point, Scott got cold feet and decided to kill Shaw off-screen while focusing on a whole new roster of characters. Why even bother getting the audience invested in Shaw in the first place if she's only going to briefly reappear in a viral video for the follow-up and only show up in the actual film as a corpse doll? Hashtag corpse doll. Number 2. Ares' final form, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman concludes with Diana realizing that General Ludendorff isn't Ares, just as peacekeeper Sir Patrick Morgan arrives to reveal that he has in fact been the god of war all along, leading to an epic final battle between the two. Wonder Woman did so well for so much of its runtime that it was a real shame it went down a more conventional CGI-infused superhero showdown in the final stretch. I mean, it didn't help that Ares' final form still had David Thewlis's face visible underneath the armor, like some kind of daft tinfoil-clad mustache model, and it all just looked a bit silly. Number 1. A Transformer killed Hitler. Transformers: The Last Night. When Anthony Hopkins historian Edmund Burton is dumping a heap of exposition on Marky Mark and his funky bunch, he not so subtly implies that a Transformer disguised as a clock assassinated Hitler. Yeah. While previous Transformers films have engaged with real-world history in relatively not terrible fashion, this was just a little on the nose, really. Nobody's expecting a Michael Bay movie that features Nazis to be tasteful or make a modicum of sense, but having Hitler be bumped off by a tiny little clock transformer is stupid as And that's our list. Make sure you subscribe to the Whatculture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and thanks for watching.